Remember when I first got approached with this project, Jim Beattie shows up at my office uninvited.
His name in most places.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, I know. So he indicated to me that he wanted me to listen to him, and Jim and I go way back. And so I said, "What is it about?" And he says, "Baseball, black baseball, Negro League baseball, and kids." You don't have to go any further. I volunteer whatever you want me to do. When you get that recipe has Jerry Bartee written all over it and everything. And so I am honored, I really am, to be involved. I'm like a kid in a candy shop to be involved in this project. I had the experience over the years to make the journey, if you will, down to Kansas City several times to visit the museum. But nothing like the last two visits I've had. I went down there the week after Christmas, drove down because I wanted to meet Bob Kendrick for the first time. And I did. And they had a special exhibit down there about Buck O'Neill. And Buck O'Neill is near and dear to my heart. And you all know of Buck O'Neill, and you certainly, please, I encourage you to read the book. I saw a copy of the book here this morning. But you need to read that. You need to listen, and you'll hear and feel Buck O'Neill. And I had the opportunity to listen to Buck O'Neill personally on several occasions. But as I shared with Bob, the greatest experience I've had with Buck O'Neill was in 1966. And I was at Central High as a senior at that time. And at that time, Central High's baseball team walked north straight down the street to Kellum Field to practice baseball every day after school. And it was late in the spring in 1966 of my senior year. And we're down there practicing, and I see this gentleman sitting up in the bleachers watching us practice. Now, I had the opportunity to make a couple of dollars in professional baseball after high school with the St. Louis Cardinals organization.
All right.
Chris used to run around and ask for my autograph when he was a kid. At that time, I knew when there were baseball scouts around because they were scouting me at the time. But this gentleman sat there in the bleachers at Kellum School, never said a word. And then afterwards, you know, because I'm curious, who is this guy, you know? He introduced himself, and he was scouting at that time with the Chicago Cubs. Buck O'Neill. Buck O'Neill, I remembered that name. And the next time I met Buck O'Neill was when I took my 10-year-old son to a game at Kauffman Stadium at that time in Kansas City, and sitting down front in that seat where he always sat was Buck O'Neill. And my son went. I said, go down there. I said, you need to just meet that man. He went down. To this day, my son's got that program that was autographed by Mr. O'Neill. But Buck O'Neill scouted me in the days that he was a scout. I always say, I kid with Bob today, only mistake Buck made, he didn't sign me. But I want to tell you right now that this project, from a historical perspective, and we all know the historical impact that Sister Rosa Parks had on the civil rights movement, where we've come today and everything. But baseball dealt with civil rights issues a decade prior to that, and if not decades. And the Jackie Robinson arrival into the major leagues was in 1947, years before the Sister Parks took the courageous bold stand on that bus. So baseball is what America, of what we are all about. And so when Jim said he wanted my involvement, I did not hesitate. Young men, you look athletic. Just because you live in Nebraska don't mean you have to be football players. Baseball, I'm telling you, is where you need to be. I have to take this opportunity because one of the integral pieces of this whole project is the involvement of the Omaha Public School District. And our president of the board, Ms. Freddie Gray, was scheduled to be here. Mrs. Gray is ill this morning, and she called, and she asked if I would say a few words on behalf of her and representing her. Well, I'm going to tell the president of the board no, right? So I said, yes, ma'am, I will. So on behalf of the Board of Education and the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. McGill, Omaha Public Schools embraces this project wholeheartedly. Principal Mylan and the exhibit will be down at Conestoga Elementary School to get our individuals that are visitors to our city during the College World Series to come and visit North Omaha and to visit the exhibit and to show a shining star, not just the exhibit, but North Omaha. And we are looking forward on this journey. We've got a committee assembled that is moving fast and